So let's appreciate the 1965 Act, because the 1965 Act allowed for non-U.S. citizens to become permanent residents. Now, according to legal scholars, permanent residents are sometimes called green card holders. They're lawful permanent residents and lawful immigrants. Permanent residents can travel freely into and out of the United States. However, if you are out of the United States for more than 6 continuous months, the government may question whether you have given up your residence. And unlike U.S. citizens, including naturalized citizens, permanent residents and undocumented immigrants can't vote in national, congressional, and state elections. In a few places, permanent residents and undocumented immigrants can vote in community and school board elections. Permanent residents qualify to work in most jobs. However, many federal and some state and local government jobs, such as police officer and firefighter, are reserved for U.S. citizens. Permanent residents may also be excluded from working for private employers if the work is to be done under a U.S. government contract. So if you are a permanent resident, you can bring to the United States as permanent residents your husband or wife and unmarried sons and daughters. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Service gives a permanent resident card, formerly called an alien registration card. Now, this card is also known as a green card. The permanent resident card is a plastic-covered card that shows that its legitimate holder is a permanent resident of the United States. The cards issued today are not green, but they're salmon or rose-colored. The first permanent resident card issued was green, and the name stuck. So today, many people have misconceptions about the green card. Those who are hostile to undocumented workers cannot understand today the amount of time and money it takes just to enter the United States legally. Those who are against amnesty erroneously assume that the undocumented committed a crime and, if allowed entry, should get in the back of the line and wait. What people do not understand is not only the injustice that's going to be implemented as a result of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 on Mexico, especially Mexico, but one does not understand the process that one must undergo to gain permanent residency. Let's go to a film clip that addresses the misconceptions concerning permanent residency. Let's listen to someone who recently obtained his green card.
Green card in the mail, and because I had to do a lot of research about immigration and about green cards in general, I thought it'd be interesting to make a video talking about the most important and noticeable misconceptions that people have about the green card and about immigrating into the United States. So I was able to write down 9 misconceptions that people have about the green card. Number 1, anyone who applies for a green card can get a green card. This one is a favorite of anyone who is against immigration. The basic premise is that they are not against people immigrating into the US. It's just that they want them to do it legally. The first problem is that there are a limited number of openings when you apply for a green card. If you are a new immigrant, in other words, if you want to immigrate to the US, but you have no family that wants to sponsor you, and there is no company that needs your services, it will be very hard to get a green card. But that does not detract people from filing. In fact, the US created a lottery system called the Diversity Immigrant Visa. In a nutshell, this program makes available 50,000 permanent resident visas, otherwise known as green cards, to natives of countries deemed to have low rates of immigration to the US. So Nigeria and Mongolia are okay, while Mexico and Canada are not. There are other ways to get a green card if you didn't win the green card lottery, or if your country does not apply. The most common is green card through marriage. There are no limited openings to marriage green cards, so you can apply at any time. And if the marriage is a valid one, you should get a green card in less than a year. Another way of getting a green card is by being sponsored through a family member. However, unless it's through a marriage, there are an allotted number of openings. So if you have to take this route, you might have to wait a few years before your application can be processed. And finally, another popular way of getting a green card is by sponsorship of an American company. You must have a very important skill in order to qualify for this one. An American company has to prove that you have a skill which is difficult to find in an American citizen. However, it is not unlikely that USCIS will issue a temporary work permit instead of a green card. Each case is different.
Number 2. If you're married to an American citizen, you will automatically get a green card.
Getting married to an American citizen seems to be the easiest and fastest way to get a green card. However, you still have to prove that your marriage is in good faith. CIS inspectors look at certain key aspects of the relationship. Where and how was the wedding? Are both the same religion? Are there any children? Do they have assets in common? Do the families know about the union? If the CIS officer thinks that there may be foul play, he or she can place your application on hold, send it to review, or even reject it. Just because you're married to a U.S. citizen does not guarantee a green card. You have to prove that it's a valid marriage. Also, if the marriage took place less than 2 years before the review of the application, a conditional green card is issued, which only lasts 2 years. When the green card expires, you have to prove once again that the marriage is still valid and in good standing.
Number 3. You need to hire a lawyer to get a green card.
Just like in any other instance in court, you don't need a lawyer, although it is highly recommended. Immigration law can be complicated, and it's always best to retain the services of someone that knows what he or she is doing. If you don't have the money to hire an attorney, or you think you have the skills to do it on your own, you can follow through pro se. If the case is an easy one, a lawyer will probably take it for somewhere around $5,000 flat fee. If you have a criminal history or you have been deported from the US, the lawyer will most likely bill you by the hour.
Number 4. You have to pay for the forms to apply.
There are many filing fees in order to obtain the green card, but you don't have to pay for the forms. The forms are available online and are absolutely free. Many unscrupulous immigration help centers will try to charge you for the forms.
Number 5. A green card lasts forever.
It's funny how it's called a permanent residence, yet it expires at some point. For a green card through marriage, the first card is valid for 2 years, and after restrictions are lifted, it is valid for 10 years. You have to continue proving your marriage in order to keep getting a green card. If you don't follow through, you may be deported. And this takes us to number 6.
Once you get a green card, you cannot be deported.
Just because you have a green card, it does not mean you cannot be deported. Only U.S. citizens are not deported. If you're found guilty of a felony, or sometimes even a misdemeanor, you can be sent back to your country of origin. And of course, you won't be able to apply for another green card.
Number 7. It's easy to get a green card.
Anyone who thinks it's easy to get a green card has probably never had to apply for one. Moreover, it takes quite a while to obtain it. Even the easiest cases take up more than 6 months to process.
Number 8. Green card holders get to vote on elections.
Permanent residents cannot vote. Only U.S. citizens are entitled to this right. End of story. And finally,
9. Permanent residents can get on welfare.
Actually, this is not a misconception, but rather a misunderstanding. Illegal immigrants cannot apply for government benefits, at least legally. The government does a background check to see if the beneficiary is eligible to receive welfare or food stamps or any other benefit. In the case of green card holders, you are required to obtain sponsorship from a U.S. citizen. This sponsorship obligates the sponsor to provide economic assistance should the permanent resident apply for welfare. The sponsor has to prove income or assets well above and beyond the national poverty line in order to apply, and they have to agree to support the green card holder in case he or she gets on welfare. That is, the sponsor has to pay back the government for any assistance that the green card holder obtains.
So if you know any more misconceptions about the green card, feel free to write them down in the comments section. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.
All right, so at least there's an explanation with regards to the green card. Now, that was the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, and again, the emphasis was on family reunification, as the green card primarily has been used for.